So be it, Jedi.
What's going on, guys? Back in another video, another episode of Read It or Skip It. And today we're going to talk about I, Jedi by Michael Stackpole. So this is a story about Corran Horn, who was introduced in Stackpole's first 4 Rogue Squadron novels. And he's sort of a Han Solo-ish character. He's a rogue. He's from Corellia. He's kind of a smartass, but by the time you get to the 4th book, you kind of like him. The difference between those stories and this one is this is really hard to read. This story is told in the first-person perspective, which is the first time I've seen that in a Star Wars book. So all of it is told via Corran's perspective. You're in his head the entire time, and while at first that didn't really bother me, it's kind of hard to get used to it, I guess. The premise of the story is Corran's wife, Mirax, goes missing. Prior to that, the New Republic or the Rogues are looking for this Empire shoot-off group called the Invids, who are pretty much ran by an ex-Imperial named Tavira. She's going around causing havoc like many of the warlords or ex-Imperials are doing at this point in time. So while they're looking for the Invids, Mirax goes missing. So Corran's freaking out. He demands answers. General Kraken tells him that Mirax was doing something for the New Republic and we can't tell you about it. So what does Corran do? He decides to go to Luke Skywalker's new Jedi Academy trilogy on Yavin 4. And this is where it starts to mesh with Kevin J. Anderson's Jedi Academy trilogy. When the Jedi Academy trilogy was written, I don't even think Corran Horn was a character yet, but he certainly isn't in that story at all. So what Michael Stackpole did is he sort of shoehorned and retconned Corran Horn to be at the Academy at the same time as the other students. So pretty much the first third or more of the book is just a rehash of the Jedi Academy trilogy, which personally I didn't really care for. I think the story itself is good. It's just the way it was written seemed very childlike and elementary. So you're going through the motions of Jedi Academy trilogy, of course. Exar Kun is a big problem. Luke gets taken out of commission. They find Kip Duron on Kessel. He turns to the dark side, steals the Sun Crusher, etc. Definitely would recommend you read that story prior to this so you know what's going on. And honestly, it's a better story than this one. After Corran, who is going by the alias Kieran Halcyon, is on the Jedi Academy trilogy, he's learning to be a Jedi because Luke tells him that's the only way that he'll be able to save his wife. So we spend weeks on end on Yavin training to be a Jedi, only for him to decide this isn't working, and he leaves the Academy. He then decides he's going to be a pirate. He's going to weasel his way into a group of pirates that are working with the Invids, and he's going to try to infiltrate that from the inside. So then he spends another several weeks and even months fitting into that alias. He then decides that I'm not going to be a Jedi. Then after spending time being a pirate, he realizes I'm not being my true self. So he has 2 almost epiphanies in this first part of the story. He decides that he is going to be an amalgamation of Kieran Halcyon, Corran Horn, and use his Corsec training to be just what he is and take all these elements that he's learned and put it into one package. Well, he starts to get under the pirates as a Jedi, and then this sect of Jedi-like people come after him, come to find out that they're sort of the lineage of Exar Kun. Luke Skywalker comes and helps him defeat these Jedi. That's when they track down Tavira. They find Mirax, and throughout this story, you see Corran, getting better at being a Jedi, I guess. He's really adept at projecting images into people's mind. He's not really good at telekinesis, but that his strong suit is, image projection and absorbing energy, I guess. The climax of the story, Mirax is saved. When he was at the Jedi Academy trilogy, he pretty much told Luke Skywalker he didn't know what he was doing, which, to be honest, he didn't. He didn't really have all the know-how to be training students, but at the end, he asks Luke Skywalker for a favor, and that's when he goes back to Yavin 4 and destroys this temple, sort of, that is an honor to Exar Kun, and that's how the story ends. It's a rehash of the Jedi Academy trilogy. It is long-winded and boring as all get out while you're spending time on Yavin. Then after he decides he's not going to be a Jedi and leaves Yavin and starts to become a pirate, that's even more boring. And then by the time you get to the climax, it's like, that's it. All in all, I had a really hard time reading this book. I think I've spent probably close to a month on this book. And it got to the point where I didn't even want to pick it up and read it. So what I do, I listen to the rest of it on YouTube. I listen to a terrible audio text-to-speech software version of the story just so I didn't have to read it. Because to be honest, I was halfway through it and I'm like, dude, I don't want to put this down because I'm already, 250 pages into it. But it was just not good. One of the worst reads I can think of, I would say, compared to Karen Travis's Public Commando stories. Those were pretty bad. But yeah, this is definitely skip it. Matt Wilkins, who I pretty much go to him in terms of reviews. After I read a Star Wars novel, I'll go and listen to his review, get his opinions on it, and etc. Says he didn't like this story, and he also said he didn't like Shatterpoint by Matthew Stover, but that's one of my favorite stories. So I was like, yeah, it's not that bad. It's bad. Definitely skip this story. Just read the Jedi Academy trilogy. There's really nothing to be gained from this. If you really like Cornhorn as a character, I guess it's definitely worth a read, but I just did not enjoy it, so I cannot recommend it. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, see you in the next one.